want to shoot a quick video for anyone thinking about switching from a GY6 style engine to a Predator style, or any of these smaller Honda clone engines. So this is the Go Kart, that actually the actual Go Kart's right there. This is the rear control arm, or whatever you want to call it, that holds the engine. So originally this had a GY6, had two tubes that came up here, two that came up here, kind of went together and then went up to the front. This is, by the way, attempt number 2 at my design of putting an engine on this kart. The first one failed pretty miserably for a couple of reasons, which I covered in an earlier video. So I just want to cover kind of how long this takes to do it right anyway, and maybe a few of the stumbling blocks you're going to run across. So number one, you've got to figure out a way to make the engine adjustable for the chain tension. Now I've done that this is version number 2, just simply by lengthening the holes. I'll eventually get to that one. That one's actually got some steel under it, so I'm going to have to do a good bit more cutting for that one. So I made this plate here, and this sits basically down like this, and then the engine goes on there. In my case, I also need a step down half shaft setup. Forget what else they call these, but anyway, jack shaft, that's what they call it, jack shaft setup. Basically the engine turns this bigger one, and then there's a smaller one down in there that then goes to the gear. Reason being, this only has 30 teeth on it, and of course I could have gone to a bigger gear, but at some point you get so big that you're worried about the gear hitting the ground when the tires are on the ground. So I prefer the ground clearance. So I just went that route, and that's going to give me about the gearing. I'd like to go still a little lower. This gear also has a weird bolt pattern and center size. So basically what I would probably have to do is cut this and then weld another gear to this, but of course getting it perfectly centered and all that's kind of tricky. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. So I'm going to end up cutting some of this out, and then I'm going to cut a hole back here for that jack shaft setup. It's actually going to go down underneath, and the chain's going to go straight back from the small gear to this gear here, basically running underneath here. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys this represents a lot of thinking, and probably 6 or 7 hours so far. You could do yours differently, obviously. This, by the way, is a piece of a pressure washer that I took apart, this aluminum plate. I kind of liked it because it already had the 4 holes for one of the engines I have for another kart. And so I was just able to elongate them. I drilled another hole in the opposite end and then just elongated them. They're not perfect, of course, but anyway, just kind of made a simple way to do it for me, and kept this relatively lightweight as opposed to using something like that plate steel, which is going to add significant weight to this. So just wanted to show you guys that one. Of the things I talked about in the first video was how so I had it on this hinge here, and I just had 2 bars basically going straight back to this right here, and I had an adjustability set up there, which I'm going to cut off and get rid of because I'm not going to tension it that way anymore. In fact, that wouldn't work anyway, because the way the jack shaft is going to be set up, the chain is going to go straight forward, so this would have to adjust the engine forward, backward, not up and down. For your normal setup, if you have like a 60 tooth here and a 10 tooth on the engine, and you've got, that's the setup you want or whatever, it's a little easier, and you can set it up with an adjustment like that. And then you just put the other plate with the hole in it. It goes in between these 2 right here, basically. And then as you adjust this up, it brings it up. So anyway, So this time I set the engine a lot lower. It's not going to be right on top of the axle, but it's going to be real close, because when it was up high, it kind of wanted to tip a little bit more. And the other issue I had, of course, is in this case there's a shelf on the back of the cart, and it didn't clear the gas tank, the air filter, or the muffler. So I ended up, well, I guess it cleared the air filter as long as you didn't compress the suspension, but once you compress the suspension, it was hitting the air filter. So anyway, with this setup, it's going to sit about probably 3 inches lower than it was, 2.5 anyway, for sure. And so I'll have a lot more clearance. But I just wanted to show you guys, you know, a lot of guys will ask, you know, should I just take this GY6, you know, whatever, clone, knockoff, 110cc or 150cc or whatever off and get rid of it? Number one, you lose the ability, if you do have a transmission, you lose the ability to have reverse. You know, neutral, I mean, you still have neutral, of course, when the clutch isn't engaged, or the torque converter, if you use a torque converter, isn't engaged. But anyway, yeah, all you have is neutral and drive. You don't have a reverse at all. So with the GY6, in a lot of cases, not all of them, you do have reverse, so that's an advantage, of course. And then just all this work that it takes. Spend some time watching some videos. A number of guys walk you through how to get one of those running. They're really not that complicated. In hindsight, I would have just got that running and been done with this. This cart would have been on the road a long time ago. So anyway, that's all for now.